Today's sales training video is part of a collection that I'm going to be doing on handling client objections. This first video with this topic is called Handling Common Client Objections. Just before we start, there's many experienced salespeople that I've met in my career that do not like objections. They don't want to hear them from their clients because they feel they're simply excuses, or they're not interested in their product or their service and the client just wants to leave. I'm questioning that. Is that really what an objection is? Well, hopefully at the very end of this first video, we will have a bit of a mindset change and we'll actually be welcoming objections. Just before we start, let me quickly introduce myself. My name's Colin, co-founder of Just Go Sell, author and sales coach. And if you are brand new to sales, then you are very, very welcome, because these videos are designed specifically for you. So please hit the bell, hit the subscribe, give me a like, because you will never miss another sales training video when I publish one. So let's dive straight into this. Before we go into handling common client objections, let's first of all identify what an objection actually is. Is it the case, as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, of clients just making excuses or reasons as to why they're not going to buy your product or your service? Or could they be something a lot more positive? Let's take two scenarios. Okay, let's say that we are a sales professional and we are presenting our product or our service to a potential client. And let's say that client is saying nothing. They are not objecting. They are not raising concerns. They are being completely and utterly silent as we are presenting. Is that a good thing? Could they be super interested? Or could they not be listening? Well, if you are ever faced with a client that is saying absolutely nothing, I'm actually going to make a little suggestion to you to find out whether they are super interested or whether they are not listening. And all you need to say is stop the sales presentation and just simply say, based on what I've said so far, based on what I've shared so far, what are your thoughts on this? Now, one of two things will happen. Your clients will turn around and say, yes, I like this bit, I'm not too sure about this bit. Or they will say something very general like, oh, it's really good. And if they say something general like, it's really good, simply respond with another question. Which parts? You will soon see whether those quiet clients that you have had have actually been listening to you intently or not been listening to you at all. And the reason I'm telling you to do this is because I do not want you to waste your time with all your efforts doing a sales presentation to someone who is simply not listening to a word you are saying. So for your own benefit, if you are faced with a client that is saying nothing, ask those questions. Or would you prefer a client, let's say the second client, so we're doing our sales presentation and this second client is actually making some comments. They're asking us questions and a few of them appear to be negative. Is that a bad thing? Because one thing's for sure, if they are asking us questions, both good and bad, they are listening. Because if they weren't listening, they wouldn't be able to produce these sorts of questions, both good and bad. So a listening client, is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's a good thing, because what you're actually saying is being received and interpreted. And simply their questions, if you perceive them to be negative or positive, means that they are engaging with you. And an engaging client is so much better than a silent client, because you've got something to work with. Even if they come up with a negative question, you have something to work with. You have an opportunity. They are giving you an opportunity to flip their thought process, to be convinced otherwise. So first and foremost is to actually welcome objections, because objections are simply clarifications or our clients seeking further information based on what we've shared with them so far. So an objection is a listening and engaging client, and that should be welcomed. So instead of using the word objections, you can actually use the word discovering questions, because that's what they are. And realistically, there is no good or bad question. You simply have an engaging client that is giving you an opportunity to find a solution or to give them 100% clarification on what they've just mentioned. So, rule number one, learn to love objections because you actually have an engaged client. So in sales, we need objections. We need interactions from our clients, because sales is made on not only trust and confidence in you as a sales professional, it's about providing tangible solutions to our potential clients. And without objections, questions, clarifications, we will never know if our product or our service could be the perfect solution to their challenges. Because if it is the perfect solution to their challenges, then we have a very good chance of a positive purchase decision when we ask them to buy our product or our service. So now that we have objections being welcomed, how do we actually handle them? Well, this particular training video is all about common objections, and we're going to look at how to handle those. A common objection is a question that comes up time and time again about our product or our service. Now, if you are new to sales and you've just started selling a product or a service, then I suggest that you go to Google and you look up common objections about that particular product or service. Go to client forums, see what they're saying. And what you need to do is you need to write a list of these common questions or these common objections that keep coming up. Because what is a guarantee is that it's going to come up in the future. So you write down these common questions, and underneath them you write the solutions. And once you're happy with the solution, then you learn it by heart. You actually stand in front of a mirror. You stand in front of a mirror and you practice repeating time and time again the solution until you can say the solution in your sleep without batting an eyelid, without actually fumbling a word. So when you actually hear one of these common objections come up, you can confidently, without any thought, answer it with confidence. And when you answer a client objection with confidence, it really puts a mountain of trust in your client's eyes in your ability as a sales professional. And most of the time, they are not going to question your answer because you've answered it with confidence, you've delivered it perfectly. But what you also need to do is just make sure that it has been answered successfully. So once you've actually answered the objection, you could actually say, does that answer your question fully? Does that answer your concern fully? And what you need to hear is a yes. Anything other than a yes, consider a no. Because common objections normally are isolated. They are not really tied to any other objections, but you need to be sure. So once you've answered this common objection and you feel as though you've done it successfully, just make sure that your clients reaffirm your thoughts that you've handled it successfully. You could even say something like, is there anything else regarding that particular matter that concerns you? What you want to hear is a no. Once you've had your client say, yes, you've successfully answered that, we are completely happy with your answer, never go back to it. Because some people, as they go through the sales process, will revert back to that common objection. And if you do, you've just opened a door. You've just opened a can of worms. Because what will go on in their mind is that, the answer they gave me earlier, I thought we'd moved on. There must be a problem somewhere. So once you have successfully answered a common objection and have clarification that your clients are happy with your answer, never ever go back to it. And one last tip just before we end on common objections is whenever you get an objection, never ever ever react to it. Reacting has never had a successful outcome in sales. Reacting is a knee-jerk reaction and it can come across as a little bit arrogant. And this is the last thing that you want. Sales is all about buying you as a sales professional, having confidence in you as having their best interests at heart. And if you give a knee-jerk reaction, why, no, or something like this, it's not good. Always respond. Even if you take a few seconds before you answer their objection, reflect on what they've said. Think about what they've said. Think about the solution that your product can actually provide to what they've just asked. Remember, these people are looking, your potential clients are looking for someone they can trust, they can have confidence in. Please don't let them down. Even if you pause 5-10 seconds, it may feel like a lifetime to you, but it really isn't. Make sure that you respond accordingly and professionally, because this is the way that you are going to have a successful outcome when it comes to asking your clients to actually make the purchase. So just before we end on today's sales training, handling client objections, the common objections, remember, firstly, have a Google or think about the repeated common objections that you get on a daily basis, or if you're new to sales, Google it and see what people are saying regularly about your product or your service. When you have that list of common objections, write down the solution. Make sure you are completely happy with the solution. Then learn these solutions by heart. Get confident in them, get comfortable with them, and make sure that when you've answered one of these common objections, that you gain clarification from your clients that you have successfully answered that objection completely, and make sure there are no other loose ends hanging around. I really hope that you're enjoying these videos and you're taking something from them. I've enjoyed my time in sales over so many years, and sharing these ideas and sharing these solutions with you, I hope they bring you as much success in sales as to what I have enjoyed. And please remember, hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button, and also go over to the website justgosell.com and check out the Ultimate Sales Professional with a mountain of short videos to help you in sales. Well, until the next time, thank you so much for watching right up to the very end, and I'll see you next time.